There's a special election taking place in Tennessee's 7th congressional district, which is a very deep red district, so much so that Trump won it by 22 points in 2024, and he won that district by 15 points in 2020. So that 7-point shift in 2024 indicates that this district was actually getting more conservative. Nonetheless, something very strange is happening in this special election that's taking place in this district. Republicans are conspicuously pouring a lot of time and energy into demonizing the Democratic Party's candidate, Aftyn Behn. And not to sound like a dick or anything, but there's not really anything unique or special about her campaign. She's a pretty standard run-of-the-mill Democrat, yet Republicans are making it seem as if she is the personification of Satan himself with the hysterical fear-mongering campaign that they're waging against her. For example, the RNC touted shocking, newly discovered audio from 2020 of Democrat Aftyn Behn claiming trans men can give birth, which is objectively true in most cases. They also linked to a Breitbart article, which got almost no engagement for them. But that's not all, because they're also sounding the alarm over her comments that she made back in 2023, criticizing her state, calling it a godforsaken state. Now, the clip that they share was actually her quoting her mother, who called it a godforsaken state. She said that her mom was sad that she moved back to godforsaken Tennessee after leaving. So they're very clearly grasping for straws here, even though it wouldn't matter if she explicitly called it a godforsaken state herself, because really, who gives a shit? This isn't a scandal. But if you're not impressed by their Oppo research just yet, well, you wait until you see this doozy. Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn shared this resurfaced clip from 2019 of Aftyn being forcibly removed from Governor Lee's office. Okay? So the scandal is that she's an activist who's passionate about issues affecting her community? Okay, see, I see that, and I see that as a good thing. So you can argue this is going to help her among some constituents because they're going to see, oh, she actually cares. Maybe I don't agree with her, but at least she's showing dedication and fighting. But just you wait until we see the next scandal, because this is the scandal to end all scandals, because the New York Post picked it up, reporting Tennessee Democratic candidate caught saying she hates Nashville and country music in resurfaced clip. Local outlets even picked it up, like Fox 12, who report, quote, "I hate this city. Democratic candidate Aftyn Behn at center of controversial clip." Now, in case you're curious, here's the clip in question.
I've been heavily involved with the Nashville mayoral race because I hate the city, I hate the bachelorettes, I hate the pedal taverns, I hate country music, I hate all of the things that make Nashville apparently an it city to the rest of the country, but I hate it. Yeah, I'm that girl at the airport that all these bachelorettes are giddy walking out in their two-toned colored Pantone pink shirts, and they walk out and they're like, oh my god, Nashville is so bad!
They're so loud.
Oh, she's so fucking finished. It's over. She's done. She has to withdraw. Now, to me, it kind of feels like she was just shit-talking and didn't really mean that. But even if she literally does hate Nashville in her heart, you can argue that that's a good thing, because maybe that will motivate her to want to improve it more than somebody who loves it and thinks that everything is peachy keen. As for country music, I'm sorry, she's just correct. She's just right about that. Cope and seethe. I don't know what else to tell you. But they're putting those comments in advertisements, and they're trying to use that to sink her campaign. And because of the loudness of their screeching over this, it kind of forced her to respond, where she hilariously claims that she actually never said that she hates Nashville, and she referred to it as a rumor, when she did say it. In fact, we all heard her say it, and I feel like if she just owned it and contextualized it or explained why she said that, it would have been more persuasive. I mean, Republicans wouldn't have stopped talking about it, but it's crazy that she's just like, nope, I didn't say it, when we all heard her say it. Regardless, all of these so-called scandals are completely laughable. In 2025 America, none of this is scandal-worthy, especially compared to the corruption and cronyism that we're seeing out of the White House. I mean, I don't know how any voter who's dealing with an affordability crisis and all kinds of crises would hear those scandals and think, oh, this is outrageous. It's straight out of the 2012 GOP playbook, and they haven't grown and adapted, but it kind of goes to show you they have nothing on her. But Republicans are trying to find everything that they can, because they are campaigning hard for that seat, as evidenced by the fact that even the White House is stepping in to stump for the Republican. And I'm not making this up.
And you were saying, before we got started, you were saying that J.D. Vance, is that right? J.D. Vance is coming to your district to campaign on behalf of your opponent tomorrow?
Yeah, so Trump had a telethon hall for my opponent
And it was very strange hearing Trump say your name. I was hoping he
said your name.
Oh yeah, twice. I was hoping he'd say something like, "She is way less cute than my daughter Ivanka. She's not a real blonde." No,
That's a good Trump.
Thank you. I thought it was going to be funny. It wasn't. But so they brought in the big dogs.
Indeed, they have. But it begs the question, why? Why are Republicans doing this? So why take the time to do all of this upvote research? Why take the time to try to discredit her? This is a Trump plus 22 district. Why put so much time, effort, and resources into demonizing a Democrat when the Republican is a shoo-in? Well, the answer to that question is because the Republican is not a shoo-in. Republicans feel like they need to defend this seat because polls show that she is statistically tied with the Republican. I repeat, she is within striking distance of the Republican in this deep, deep red district. A poll published by Emerson College finds that the race is surprisingly tight, with Aftyn being just 2 points behind the Republican Mike Van Epps, with 5% of voters still undecided, which is very, very bad news for the Republican, seeing as how the election takes place next week and he doesn't have much time to course correct and improve things. But it's not too surprising if you look at the top issues affecting voters in this district. Number one is the economy by far and away, with housing affordability, threats to democracy, and healthcare coming in second, third, and fourth, respectively. Immigration, which is the top focus for the Republican Party, is polling in fifth place at 6%. And, to make matters worse, Trump is also underwater in this district. Quote, President Trump holds a 47% job approval rating among Tennessee's 7th district voters and a 49% disapproval rating. President Trump's approval rating is a stark reversal from last November when he carried the district by 22 points. The decline is driven by independents, among whom 59% disapprove and just 39% approve. And this is why Republicans are shitting their pants. This is why they're desperately trying to cook up some sort of a scandal that's going to stick to her, because they are in danger of losing this seat in this deep, deep red district, which is crazy to me. Now, it could be even worse for the Republican than this poll indicates if the trend from New Jersey and Virginia holds, where Democrats overperform their polls by 5 and 8 percentage points. And that is a very real possibility given what CNN data analyst Harry Enten said about the other special elections that took place earlier this month.
They could be overestimating the Republicans. We just saw this a week ago in both Virginia and New Jersey. Who the polls underestimated in 2025? They underestimated the Democrat Mikey Sherrill by 8 points in New Jersey. They underestimated Abigail Spanberger's margin by 5 points in Virginia. The bottom line is this. The polls on inflation are absolutely awful for Donald Trump. Even if they were slightly better, he'd still be way, way below water. But the problem, Kate Baldwin, might be even worse than the polls suggest. The bottom line is this. Donald Trump has a massive issue on his hand, and no wishing will make it go away because people feel it in their pocketbooks every day, and they see it as the prices climb ever higher when they try and purchase their groceries.
So what if the polls are underestimating Aftyn by 8 points or 5 points or even 3 points? That'd mean that she would flip that seat. And I cannot tell you how catastrophic that would be for the entire Republican Party, locally, nationally, everywhere, because it would indicate a number of things. First of all, it would indicate that their effort to gerrymander could backfire spectacularly, because in order to get more Republican seats via gerrymandering, you have to dilute Republican districts, thus making them more vulnerable to Democrats who are overperforming their polls. So if you take a district that was plus 15 Republican down to a plus 10, you endanger yourself. So the thing that Trump did to shore up the House's majority could actually lose them the majority in the long run. But if Republicans lose this seat, it also expands the conversation. We begin to ask ourselves, if a Democrat can win in a Trump plus 22 district, well, does that mean they can win in a district where a Republican won by, say, 29 points? I'm asking because Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's resigning, won the 14th district of Georgia by 29 points. Is that district gettable? I'd argue probably not, since Trump won that district by 39 points, which is 10 points higher than Marjorie. But I mean, if people really are feeling the squeeze of the economy, they might flip just out of sheer desperation and out of spite. So, it seems like wishful thinking, I know. But I mean, if Aftyn actually pulls this off, it won't sound that absurd. And I think that she's doing well because she's hitting on Trump's weaknesses, which is economy and affordability. If she continues to hit him on the economy and the affordability, well, she could she could beat her opponent across the finish line.
Angry about high grocery prices? Worried about healthcare costs? Feeling burned by tariffs? Then December 2nd is your day to shake up Washington. I'm Aftyn Behn, and in Congress, I'll work for you, not the rich donors or special interests. Together, we can bring balance to Washington by making healthcare more affordable, bringing down the cost of living, and protect workers and small businesses from job-killing tariffs. I'm Aftyn Behn, and I approve this message to shake up Washington.
The wink was a nice touch, for sure. On a serious note, though, cards on the table, I think that she is a very charismatic and talented speaker, but I'm just not impressed by the campaign that she's running. There's almost no concrete policy proposals, and the issues page on her website just redirects you to her Substack. But I guess it doesn't matter, because as the special elections on November 4th taught us, people are voting for Democrats in spite of their unpopularity because of how badly Donald Trump is fucking up. And I know that Aftyn's team is probably going to see this video because they've been sharing comments from commentators on social media. So when they come across this one, I want them to read my lips. Medicare for all. No more milquetoast platitudes about affordability and access. We want Medicare for all. Full stop. For-profit health insurance companies are inherently evil because they are making the system unaffordable. So if you really care about bringing down the costs, you should want to cut them out and support single-payer healthcare. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. I'm pleased to see Republicans shit the bed in deep red districts like this, but let's up the standards in the Democratic Party at the same time to ensure that the pendulum never swings back in their direction ever again. You prevent that with big systemic changes, not uninspiring incrementalism. It's something even James fucking Carville finally acknowledges. He admitted, quote, "I am now an 81-year-old man, and I know that in the minds of many, I carry the torch from a so-called centrist political era. Yet, it is abundantly clear, even to me, that the Democratic Party must now run on the most populist economic platform since the Great Depression. It is time for Democrats to embrace a sweeping, aggressive, unvarnished, unapologetic, and altogether unmistakable platform of pure economic rage. This is our only way out of the abyss." Again, James Carville said that. And perhaps for the first time in his 81 years of existence, he's finally right about something. That right there is the ticket. Go big or go home. Coasting to victory on an anti-Republican wave is all well and good, but addressing people's material needs with concrete solutions is how you stay in power permanently and how you stop Republicans from eventually coasting back into victory themselves in the next anti-Democrat wave, which is inevitable if Democrats fail to meet the moment. With that being said, I'm still hoping that Aftyn can pull this off, because if she does, it'll send shockwaves through DC, and the pants shitting will be so prevalent that we'll probably be able to smell it from across the country. So I will be watching this race very closely next Tuesday and crossing my fingers, because if this happens, buckle up, because the meltdowns will be colossal.